Talking through the Tornador gun, which is a very well known bit of kit. Now I don't know the exact price. I know it's over £100. I want to say £115, something like that. Depends on where you get it from. That's in the UK. And the great thing about this is it is very expensive, but compared to other Tornador guns, what I will say is that it does have a really nice smooth ball bearing in it, and it does move and rotate really well. Now the only issue I've got with this container is that it comes with a ball bearing at the bottom, which means if you do tilt, this ball bearing will move inside. It's weighted ball bearing, and what it will do is if you tilt it to the side, it will move to where the liquid is and those kind of areas. But what I'll say is it's got a mesh insert, and it has been affecting the amount of spray that's coming out. So I've removed the mesh and I've removed the tubes, kept the ball bearing on, but I've changed it all around. So in here today for my little maintenance, I've got some Car Pro inside, and I've diluted that down at a 1:4 ratio. So that's 880 millimeters of water, and we've got 220 mils of product. So the great thing about this Tornador is you've got the opportunity to turn up the pressure or turn down the pressure. So you can adjust it from 4.5 bar to 6.5 bar, which is interesting. Tornador, as you well know, as you can see from the end of the gun, what it does is it spins around, creates a vortex, which actually improves lifting sand, dirt, grit, and blowing things around. And also good if you take that off, if you use it on its own. It's really good for drying alloy wheels or drying certain areas and blowing out water from certain areas. So quite a lot of uses in the detailing game. Highly recommend it. Has a shut off valve, so you can turn it on, you can turn it off, which is great as well. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be using the boxing glove by Car Pro. I've got one of those right next to me here, behind me. There we go. And I find, you know, when you're working in the detailing sector, you know, time is money, money is time, and all that sort of stuff. So boxing glove gives you the opportunity to get across all these surface areas, a bit like how your wash mitt works. You know, you've got a big old wash mitt, and as you probably be able to see, you've got all these little tiny fibres. And there's lots of different tools you're going to need for an interior detail. Little spokey tools to get into little areas, little crevices, little angles. You know, we also have to be really careful when it comes to when you come in close here. What you'll tend to see is that on this particular piece of the door handle here, what you'll see is you can see there has a UVB protector that actually you have to be careful that it comes off with wear and tear. So whenever you're doing anything like this and cleaning, before you go through the cleaning process, make sure you spend time really taking out any dirt, any grit that is stuck into these little crevices, in these little gaps, because they can become trapped in these pores and fibres and become very abrasive. So any grit, any of these areas in here, be very clear when you are hoovering and vacuuming on your first pass, to just go through all these little areas and try and blast them out. Like I said, you don't want to be going onto these soft furnishings and ripping them off. I mean, this is a car that's a 2006, so it will, you know, have a few bits and pieces here and there that aren't great. So as you well know, when you're doing a car detailing process, when you're doing interiors, you need loads of tools. You need little toothpicks, you need little swabs, you need different types of brushes, you need different types of chemicals. You've got leather, you've got plastics, you've got vinyl, you've got loads of different things. So the trolleys, you've got the hoovers, you've got the steamers, you've got everything. So it's quite difficult sometimes when you're working outside or you're mobile. You've got so much equipment that needs to be used when you're working in this sort of environment and scenario. So does the Tornador offer this value where you've got one tool that can wash and dry, and with this scrubber to help you in these scenarios? We'll find out. Always when you're working with these kind of things, make sure you wear a face mask. I won't be wearing a face mask today because I want to make sure that I can speak to you guys, because I've got my mics up and stuff. I'm hoping I can switch my mic on. And this hasn't all been for no reason. Let me just double check. Yes, thank God. It's a big difference to Instagram Live to YouTube Live. You can't see the comments, you can't see what's going on. So if anyone's out there listening to me right now, and you are in the community, I apologise, but I can't see any comments because I'm streaming. So, power up, I've got it on the full power. So great thing about this is being able to turn it down, up and down from the back here. You can hear, I'll turn this down. Look, not working. Turn it up. As you can see, product coming out. So, let's crack on, get some of this in. I'm going to make you stand you back, there we go, see if you can see in. Pull you down a little bit more. This feels very much for like forensic detailing right now. On the firm, no one cut, one take, one edit. So let's get in here. Once that product's applied, you can now get in there, give that a good scrub. As you can see on there, starting to pick up that dirt, that little bit of traffic dirt, a little bit of oil, a bit of grease, and whatever that was at the bottom there, little pink stuff. Must be my daughter's sweets in there. So, think about the interior as the same as your exterior, you know? Working in the little gaps, little crevices. You know, get yourself in there, get your edge work done. If you haven't seen any of my videos on pre-wash, where I talk about framing, getting into those little areas, working the little gaps first, because that's where the hardest bit is. Most of the dirt, most of your grime, most of your damage, your contamination is going to be all in the edge work. So spend your time focusing on those little areas, because once that's all done, once that's all out of those little areas, then you'll be able to clear out. Now, one of the things that's important about CarPro inside is I've diluted it down to 1 to 4. Now, I have used this product neat before, but it tends to be very aggressive, unfortunately, and I have had some issues with colour fading in certain areas of my plastics and on my trim. So be very aware of those little circumstances. You can also fill this with APC. You can get around your door shuts or around your door cards, whatever your choice is. I wouldn't personally be using CarPro inside for that sort of process. This is a product as well from on the Jonny Shiell detailing shop, the Oi Oi shop. It's a product by Wax and Away. They're available. They come in different sizes. Really nice product, a really nice brush. Nice wooden handle, nice ferrule, really nice soft edges. Doesn't tend to lose its bristles, which is great. So obviously once you've finished, give it a nice dose. And then give it a nice little wipe down. And always, when you're buffing off CarPro inside, the manufacturer recommended instructions says to you to buff off with a dry cloth and then to wipe down and remove any excess with a rinse bucket and a damp cloth. That will remove any excess product. So buff off to a dry finish, to remove any of the excess, just leveling off that product. Make sure you get into all the little areas. And you can turn this off now. Turn that off and then literally dry it. Dry all that off. The Tornador is really good for that as well, as actually getting the dust out of those little areas. So crank that right up to a nice. There you go. You can hear how powerful that is. That's working off a 50-litre compressor. That's a Hyundai compressor, which is really, really helpful to recharge. So, there you go. So as you can see, we've got that there, we've got a damp cloth here, just to wipe off any residue. And there you have it, guys. Nice, easy, clean, fresh, maintained, matte looking door card using a Tornador Z series. This is the Tornador Z02RS. There are different variations and different variables of Tornador. But I hope that guys that was influenced, I hope that hard work doing lives. I hope that helped, guys. I hope that helped you. Just another tip. There's going to be some more brushes, some more techniques using scrubber dubbers. I'm a big fan of the boxing glove. I quite like the way it works. Like I say, don't forget to go over with a rinse bucket. Keep wringing it out. Keep removing some of that excess. The last thing you want to do is leave any chemicals to dry into the fabrics, to the different materials you've got inside the car. They're all very sensitive. You've got leather, plastics, you've got the soft furnishings, these little sprayed areas. They're all very different. So always remember when you work on interiors to make sure you're working with the correct brushes and the correct procedures to safely remove dirt and oils, and without scrubbing away any of the important finishes and furnishings, any of the protective layers that are on it. So let me know down in the comment section what you think of these lives. 14 minutes in now, didn't want to take too long, but always you can let me know what you think down in the comment section. Always interested to get your opinions and your views. Probably coming up very soon, we've got some more lives coming up on there. So yeah, that's it. Thanks a lot, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, guys.